Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to College Football Unscripted's Real Talk. I'm your host, Tyler, and this is for week 13. Once again, I'm here with my co host, Anthony. Say what's up, Anthony.
What's up, everybody? Tyler, appreciate you, man. Always good talking with you, buddy. How you been, man?
Oh, trying to get in the Christmas spirit. I have my Christmas sweater on.
Yes,
As
sir. Yes, sir.
got that toque on. Winter's around the corner.
And you gotta stay warm all the time.
Exactly. You gotta stay warm. So, honestly, this week, not as surprising as some other weeks that we've covered. It was kind of, at least the major games were mostly blowouts or like kind of one-sided. How'd you feel about the this week in college football, though, Anthony?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was as we expected, I guess, really. Lot of, like you said, a lot of one-sided football. A lot of big blowouts. So, you know, just like you said, man, just classic football, right?
As we always say here, that's football, baby. So,
That's football.
so why don't we jump on in then? Game one of the week was Oregon versus USC. Oregon pulling out the 42-27 win, and Anthony, let me just say, USC was kind of the Elmer Fudd of the NCAA this week because, you know, they went rabbit, or in this case, duck hunting, and they kind of came home very much empty handed. How'd you feel about that game?
Tyler, man. I mean, hey, that pretty much speaks for itself right there. Yeah, they went duck hunting and they came home empty-handed. Oregon played lights out, and USC just uh just a bad one for them. And their hopes of making the playoffs are, I believe, officially done. So that's a tough loss for USC.
Yeah, their playoff hopes obviously done. I felt like this. Now, this may be because of the other games that happened this week, but I felt like this was one of the more even ground games compared to maybe like a Louisville SMU game and all those other ones. But yeah, like obviously Oregon pulls out the win here. Honestly, it was an entertaining game. I found it
Yeah.
very entertaining. High yards, high offense, type of explosive firepower, and you got two of the best college football players right now playing with Oregon, right? Dante Moore and Kenyon Sandik, I believe you say his name, and
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
of them just you know balled out.
Yeah, Dante Moore had himself a great game. I'm a fan of Dante Moore, man. I like a quarterback like that. 257 yards, two TDs. My goodness, great performance from the Oregon Ducks. Another good Oregon Duck there is the running back Noah Whittington, 104 yards and a TD. A great game from him. Great game from him. Oregon's offense is no joke, and USC isn't a joking matter either. And Oregon gave him the business, man, and Dante Moore led the way, and good for Oregon. My God, I got uh, I got a buddy who's an Oregon fan, and he was happier than pig and shit this week. I'll tell you that right now.
Um, Absolutely, and one thing I really noticed about Oregon too is just, and you mentioned it with Noah Whittington. The rush game this game was way better than USC's. I think that's one of the big separating factors here for this team was that rush offense because like Oregon put up what 179 yards compared to USC's 52 rushing yards. Like
Yeah.
that's once again, I'm no math expert, but that's a big difference.
Yeah, and like we preach a lot here on CFB Unscripted, is when you become one dimensional, you lose football games. I don't know how many times we could possibly say that on this podcast. I don't know who's got to listen to us, but when you become one dimensional, you lose football games. You don't run, you pass. The defensive coordinator always is going to catch on, either it's first quarter, second quarter, and at halftime, timeouts, at some point it's going to catch on. And you're going to lose a football game. You're not going to win when you become one dimensional. And
Absolutely, and as we always say on College Football Unscripted too, shout out the kickers. You know, obviously Sappington, he made 6 extra points that game. I know that's kind of their
Yeah.
whole shtick, but you see kickers miss those, so good on him for making all 6.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love me a good kicker. 6 for 6 is perfect. Is perfect.
But yeah, no, and even going back to like the offense, like I think the passing was a little bit more even. Like both quarterbacks played okay. Obviously, Moore played a lot better than Mavia, but
Yeah.
you know, can't be too picky some days. And honestly, USC just isn't at that level where they can fully compete with the Oregons, Ohio States, and even the Texas A&Ms of the world, right?
And now I got a question for you, Tyler. Here
Yeah.
is Mavia the I don't want to say problem, but is he the issue with why this team is officially eliminated from the playoffs? Because he went 306 yards, 3 TDs. That's not that bad. But
No.
that's just this game, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, what do you think, Tyler? I don't know.
I think they had an okay passing game this game. Once again, I haven't
Mm.
watched all of USC's football all this season, so I have no idea how their other 11 games went. But like to me at least, he didn't look like the problem. And maybe that's me being a little bit more even-headed because I don't like to sit there and point at teams and be like, "Oh, this one guy is the problem."
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Because when you're losing, oftentimes it's more than just one guy, right? Like we mentioned USC not putting up a lot of rushing yards, but at the same time
yeah.
their defense really isn't stopping a whole lot either, right?
No, yeah,
So
exactly,
it's
exactly.
multi-factor, and we'll see what happens next year with USC. But could there be an upgrade? Yeah, there could be. And you know what? With USC bringing in probably one of the best draft classes for college football next season with their 2026 draft class, maybe there is an upgrade in that group, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, like and going back to that one-dimensional football, like you said, when your defense isn't stopping the other opposing team, you kind of have no choice but to become one-dimensional football, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're down 3 scores, 4 scores, like you're not rushing the ball in the fourth quarter. You got to throw the rock. You got it. You have no choice. So again, that's the argument, the other side to our argument of you can't be one dimensional. When you're down that much, you have no choice but to become one dimensional, and it just points out all the faults in your offense. And I hope they give him a chance next year again because I think he's a good quarterback. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like as you said, like they allowed 436 yards. If they allow closer to that 382 that they got, is it maybe a closer game? Probably, right?
Yeah, probably. You're right, 100%.
Because yeah, like even
100%.
even Oregon, like they looked good offensively, right? Like we talked about that
Oh
earlier.
yeah.
Like they went 7 for 12 on the third down efficiency, right?
Yeah.
And USC, they went 7 for 15, so that's not too shabby either. But like team's gonna have a different performance every game, and this game they were just outperformed. They didn't necessarily play
Yeah.
bad, but it's just a matter of Oregon played better.
Yeah, and I want to mention here there was the DB for Oregon, Malik Benson. He had an 85-yard punt return. That kind of like just flipped the momentum there in a little
Yeah.
bit. I forget what order that was. I don't have it in my notes, but some quite switched the momentum of the game,
Yeah.
and it was just all Oregon after that. So shout out Malik Benson. Great job.
But speaking of that, who do you think the dog of the game is?
My dog of the game, I'm gonna have to give it to Dante Moore, quarterback, Oregon. He played wonderful. He led that offense, full charge. Dante Moore, dog of the game. Woof woof.
Abs- Absolutely. And some of the aftermath of that game. So the Ducks are now they're still in the title hunt, but Ohio State needs to get upset by Michigan next week. Don't know how likely that is, but if they do, they could get a bye in the playoffs. I think it's at like a 2% chance right now, so it's unlikely, but you never know, right? Overall,
Yeah, never
Oregon
know.
has a 90% chance of making the playoffs, so we're gonna be talking about them in the next couple weeks here for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%,
And
absolutely.
you were talking about defensive backs and stuff. Oregon does look like the real deal. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but in the fourth quarter, they had three backup offensive linemen in, and they still held their own,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. When your backups are coming in and they're still balling out, man. That shows a lot. That shows, first of all, you've got a lot of depth and you have a good leader in that locker room. And when you have a good leader in that locker room, the team listens, man, and it can change. And yeah, I love a good big offensive lineman. I love me a good big boy up front.
and let me ask you this too, because your dog of the day was Dante Moore. So, do games like this increase his NFL draft stock, do you think?
Um, I think so because USC isn't no offense to here when I say this, isn't a Boston College. Like if you were to put up 257, two TDs against Boston College, you'd be like, yeah, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? That's a good day. But he did it against USC and with them being USC and the school they are, you look at it and say that's a good day from Dante Moore. Hey, got my dog of the day from those stats, right? And from leading the offense and the team. So yeah, I think it does for sure. I think 100%. It's skyrocketing for me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it certainly does. Because speaking of draft stock, I think there's two players on this Oregon team that are probably going to go early in the NFL draft for the 2026 draft here. That obviously being Sadiq as a tight end there, and then Dante Moore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Sadiq's probably
I'll
one
go
of the
him
best
too.
tight ends in the draft right now, or of the possible tight ends in the 2026 draft. Because both of these guys are sophomores, right? Like, there's no
Yeah.
100% certain, but like, if you're going to go in the first round, you're probably going to go early, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
do you think that's something that either Oregon or other teams are looking at and being like, "Oh, well, we'll wait until those two guys leave," or do you think both of the guys are gonna leave early? I think Sadiq's gonna leave early. You think Moore's gonna leave early too?
It's tough for more. Like, I mean, again, we're talking two first round picks here. Like, you're in the first round of the NFL draft. That's an accomplishment of its own, right? Now, if you're Dante Moore, and I believe he has this mentality, that dog mentality. First round isn't just good enough for him. He wants to be top five, top three pick. And is he right now? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He could be. Like, yeah, I think he's projected top 10, I think. But again, um, I don't know. I could see him coming back. He's only got 16 starts, I think,
Yeah,
which
16 career starts for him.
yeah. So I mean, with that, that's not much. You kind of have like an Arch Manning situation here, right? Where yeah, you know, shout out Longhorns. Uh, but but yeah, I don't think he declares this year. I think he maybe comes back and balls out for Oregon again.
Well, and yeah, just that developmental stuff too, right? Like, with 16 career starts, you still have lots to learn at the college
Yeah,
football level, right? Do you really want to go and jump behind the O line of, I don't know, the New York Jets or whatever other team's gonna draft you? If you don't need to take that jump right now, and with the NIL, it makes it definitely more attractive to come back for sure.
exactly, exactly. That NIL is a big reason why uh he should probably and will probably stay back.
Speaking of things that are attractive, though, USC bringing in the top 2026 draft class for next year. They're going to be a lot of freshmen. They have a really tough schedule. With that being said, do you think that 9-3, most of those middle tier teams look at that 9-3 record and go, yeah, that's a good season. Do you think for USC that this is a decent season even?
It's a decent season, right? Like it's not like it's not like Liberty, you know what I mean? But it's a good it's something to be proud about that record for sure. Not making the playoffs kind of sucks, but I mean it's a decent season, sure. I think
Or sorry, they're 8-3.
8-3. Okay, we're
Eight
eight
and
and
three.
three. Either way, 8-3. Either way, 8-3 is that's fine too. But still, and you mentioned they got that draft class coming in. That draft class is like you said, a lot of freshmen, which means a lot of mistakes, which means a lot of loss of downs or loss of points or whatever the case may be, right? Because not all of them are going to be hits. Not all of them are going to be hits. It's the way
No,
it goes, right?
and
And yeah,
and I do think that one of the areas that USC needs to work on is their defense, right? Like it
yeah,
doesn't look as solid as it could be, and I think that's one of the main things that's stopping them from competing with like an Ohio State or even top 10 ranked school, right? So I
mhm,
think if they bring in this draft class, kind of you need to find that healthy balance between potential and skill.
yeah,
So with that being said, this is obviously their fourth season in a row without making playoffs. So that coach's seat is going to be looking hot.
yeah. And 4 years without being in the playoffs, like, does that 8-3 record entertain anyone anymore? Like, does it make the crowd happy? You know what I mean? I don't think it does. But again, is it a record to be bad about? Oh, I don't think so. But hey, that's football, baby.
Speaking of things that may or may not bring happiness or joy to a crowd, how about that BYU versus Cincy game?
Golly, golly, the crowd was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. Let me just say the "Fu Mormons" chant that was going through that crowd, not a good look. Not a good look, especially when your PA announcer is begging you guys to stop. Your
That's
own PA announcer.
that's something unheard of. That's something unheard of. That's wild. That's wild. Shout out Cincinnati for being for being the fans for being crazy. Because that's nuts.
Well, and not only was their crowd crazy, but their team was a little bit crazy too. They missed 3 field goals, had a red zone fumble, I believe an interception,
Yeah,
and they only
terrible.
punted twice somehow. But
Yeah,
that lack of finish is crazy.
yeah. I mean, I expected like I think I picked Cincinnati to win this game. Did I, or did I think
I
pick
believe you
BYU?
did when we were talking
Right?
last
Like,
week.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. But um, 3 field goals missed. That's three. That's 9 points, right? That
Yeah,
that's 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 big. 9 points is huge. And the interception, okay, the interception's an interception. I'm not gonna fault the guy for that. He got 300 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. That's fine. But it just on top of the three missed field goals, that one INT, it's just, oh man, it's a tough day to be a Bearcat right now. Tough time to be a
absolutely.
Bearcat. Yeah,
Well, and not to mention, like, if you do get those 3 points, it's a 20, what, a 26, 23 game? Like,
yeah.
does that change any of BYU's decisions? Maybe they don't end up with 26 points, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It changes everything. Like if you hit those nine, if you hit those field goals, 9 points, BYU's playing a totally different game. Totally different game. They have to because it's a close game, right?
Absolutely. But speaking of BYU and the game that they played, they looked good. They looked good in this one. I personally, I was a big fan of LJ Martin.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolute. I know this is your thing. Absolute dog out there, though.
yeah, yeah,
222 yards. I believe a TD or two. Like,
yeah. Two
he
TDs.
looked
Yeah,
good.
yeah. He looked wonderful. LJ Martin, man. Shout out LJ Martin. He reminds me like a little bit of like an AP when he runs. You know what I mean? He's got that little papa, right?
Yeah.
And I love seeing that in that running back. They got someone good there. I like it. Um, and then I wanna say something about BYU safety Tanner Wall.
Okay.
He had his one interception that he got led to BYU's touchdown. So it was a big interception. It was a big time interception. So shout him out, Tanner Wall, safety BYU.
Well, and like, not only did they show their clutch there too, but even their third down efficiency, like 7 for 14, 50%. That's pretty good for a third down efficiency, especially when you compare it to Cincinnati, who went 4 for 13, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we talk about like one dimensional games and how they're not very good and all that stuff, right? Like we talked about with the earlier game. This was kind of a game where BYU was a little bit one dimensional, but they could pull out the win, right? Like they had 263 or 265 rushing yards to Cincy's 87. And I don't know
Yeah.
about you, Anthony, but those Cougars were running fast, okay? They're running faster than me when I see the metaphorical Cougars at the bar.
Hey, shout out to the Cougars at the bar. Tyler's watching. Better watch out.
But no, like their rush team was impeccable.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's a weird one for me because I really thought Cincinnati was going to come out and dominate. Like I thought Cincinnati was going to have a great game. They came out, put up 2 touchdowns, like right, and it's just I don't know. I don't even know what to say anymore, Tyler. They frustrate me in the Bearcats right now, and with that game. Um, yeah, missed opportunities, and this is what happens. So
Well, yeah, and like even when you look at it, like BYU's Backmeyer, their QB, he didn't have the best game, right? But
no, no,
that
yeah,
interception, those missed field goals, like obviously other things were working in their favor.
yeah. I believe he had 46 rushing yards and a TD. Like that's not bad. It's okay. I don't know how much I like BYU's quarterback anyway right now. So
Well, and even a couple weeks ago when we were talking about BYU, it was a completely different guy, right? So it's a matter of can BYU solidify that, right? But I think overall they look kind of good under pressure. And yeah, like it was just they obviously dominated the game in terms of possession too, right? Like 40 minutes to Cincy's 20. Like when you only have the ball 1/3 of the game, how much good can really come from that, right?
well, yeah, like 20 minute 20 excuse me 20 minutes more possession um for BYU. Correct? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
Right? 20 minutes
21
more.
minutes, 35 seconds.
21. Yeah, whatever. So whatever. Don't have to go down on the number, but you know, when you have that plus your 50% from third down conversions, that's a good combination, right? Um, so yeah, when you do that, that's a good recipe it's a good recipe for winning, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Well, that mix of converting for BYU with their 7-14, and then that limiting of their defense on Cincinnati to 20 minutes, like that,
yeah,
I'm no cook, but that's a good recipe right there.
exactly. And like you said last week, like third down, if you're over 50% or over on third downs, you're in a good position to win the football game. And everyone, I mean, we only talked about 2 teams, but the 2 teams we've talked about so far have been over 50% on third downs. So, I mean, heck, that's something right there, right?
Absolutely, and I mean third down conversion, putting yourself in a good position, both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah, yeah.
But speaking of putting yourself in a good position, Cincy has not put themselves in a good position recently. Because in the last 3 seasons, they're 1-11 in November games and 3 in for 12 in primetime nighttime games. When you're not getting the wins when you need them, especially with November being such a crucial month for college football,
Important time for football.
and you're dropping them more than flies at a bug zapper, you're wondering why you're not making playoffs or even being remotely in the conversation, and that's why.
Yeah, like when that 1 for 11 in November is crazy because November football is a important time to be winning, and you won once. Uh, Bearcats got to be better. They got that. They got to be better. I was pissed off at them before this hearing this from you, and now you made me more mad at them because that that's crazy. I don't even know. I can't even speak. Can't even speak. That's how mad I am. Do better, Cincinnati. Do better.
Speaking of missing the mark, let's move on to our third game. Missouri versus Oklahoma. Obviously, Missouri is very much missing out on their mark as they dropped this one 17-6 to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oklahoma. I mean, look, it was 17-6 isn't always a good football game, but Oklahoma, they they showed why they're here to play this game. Their quarterback, 173 passing yards, 2 TDs, 60 rushing yards. He had a wonderful day. 3 catches for 109 yards, 1 TD. Wide receiver Isaiah Satanga. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He had another wonderful day. But yeah, Oklahoma just came out and took control of this football game. And yeah, I believe he even had a blocked field goal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another game where both quarterbacks didn't necessarily play the best, right? Like Mater only went 14 for 30 and 173 yards, but as you said, those defensive efforts, those block field goals, those keeping them to pretty much 300 yards and making them go 3 for 15 on the third down efficiency, 1-0 on their fourth down. That's going to do it, right?
Yeah, like it wasn't a very much offensive game. Oklahoma's defense was wonderful. When you hold a team to 6 points, like that's they had Owen Hein Heineck Heineck, I don't know his name, linebacker, 10 tackles, team high. So I mean that's when you got 10 tackles a game as a linebacker, that's good. That means you're putting out. That means you're playing hard nosed football, running downhill at that running back and or receiver or tight end, whoever's running the ball, and you're doing your job as a linebacker. And when you're doing your job as a linebacker, your defenses should be following suit because you're the captain of that D, right? So yeah, yeah. Shout out Owen Heineck, whatever his name is.
Well, and not to mention, like, especially in a rivalry game, you want those
Yeah,
type of players to show up, right? Like, you want those guys to shut it down. And that's
yeah,
exactly what
exactly,
happened with Oklahoma.
exactly. In a rivalry game, like when it's a rivalry, so the fans are already into it and they're already pumped, and it's a low scoring rivalry game. But when you got guys doing 10 tackles, an interception, a blocked field goal, it makes the crowd pumped and stay into the game, and that energizes you and then energizes that defense. Heck, Fred Warner even talked about it, I think, on his podcast. But he said, like, when the crowd's pumping you up and your offense is a step behind, your defense has got to be 2 steps up. It's got to replace that extra step. So, and Oklahoma's defense did that this week for sure.
Absolutely. And speaking of one of the momentum shifts too, like Reggie Powers the third getting ejected for targeting. That's gotta change the momentum of the game for sure too, right? Because the fans aren't the only ones that have control over that, right?
Yeah, I listen, listen. I like big hits. I like, I like player safety as well. Like I want the player to be safe. Any player, any hit, anytime. Okay. There was nothing wrong with this hit. It was a nice hit. I don't think he got hurt. I hope he didn't. I hope he's okay. I'm pretty sure he was okay. He got up, I think. But I don't understand that ejection there, Tyler. It blows my mind. We're American football players, okay? We we hit hard, right? We drink lots. We like fast things, and that was all the above, and you ejected him for that, and this can't be an ejectable offense. It's ridiculous, but whatever.
And one of the consistent things that we always talk about too is the critique of refs and all that.
Yeah.
Whether or not that was a justified ejection, I don't know. One thing I do know though, those coaches were all over the field during that game too, getting up in officials' faces, and I was surprised there wasn't a penalty there, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was listen, I've been watching football I've been alive. I'm 29 years old. Okay? I've been watching football since I was 9. Okay. I have never seen coaches like that in the ear of a ref without them doing something. Now the refs just take it. Like they just took it. Look, I've never seen that before. I don't know if it was something new because of what happened last week with that whole the whole cop thing, and they didn't want a whole fiasco this week, but it was bad. It was terrible.
And speaking of terrible, though, what's not so terrible? Oklahoma is now 9-2, 5-2 against SEC opponents, and they're 100% on track for college football playoffs now.
Yeah, I mean, that defense in the playoffs. I mean, hey, they say defense wins championships, right? Now, I'm not calling Oklahoma a champion, but I mean, heck, you play defense like that, and you're holding team 6 points. That's pretty good there. That's pretty good ball.
Like that's one of the teams where definitely, if you see them as your first round opponent, you're going to be a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you're losing sleep over Oklahoma for sure, 100%.
And you know who else is losing sleep, Anthony? Louisville, because in our next game, SMU just kind of spanked them. They spanked them.
Yeah, another defense that dominated offense as well, but defense just, you know, they held when you hold a team, like I said previously, when you hold a team to 6 points, you're doing something wonderful. But SMU, they came with they came with the left and the right punch this week because they came with the defense and they came with the offense. And when you got both, man, you're knocking those people out.
Just like Mike Tyson.
Just like Mike Tyson. Shout out Mikey T. But when you're 303 yards, 3 TDs, one rushing TD he got. He played wonderful, Jennings, excuse me, for the quarterback there for SMU. So, and for Louisville, uh, I don't know. I guess their quarterback had 94 offensive passing yards.
And let me just say, because we talked about Louisville a little bit last week, just in our texts and stuff. And you kept telling me, oh, Louisville's going to rebound. Louisville's going to rebound. I just think they're one of those teams that's on a slide. And I don't know when they're going to snap out of it, right? Like, even this game alone, they got doubled up in terms of yards, passing yards, not necessarily rushing yards, but sacks, interceptions. Louisville had to punt twice as much as SMU. Like, just nothing went right for them. And let me just say, this is actually Louisville's largest margin of defeat since 2019.
Holy shit! I thought Louisville would come out and honestly win this game because or make it closer at least. Like I think I picked them too. I don't even know. It shocks me. It shocked me that they came out and they did this. But should it shock me though, Tyler? Like you said, like this is their fourth
They're,
loss in a row or
no, they're
something like
the
that.
third loss in a row, and they've just like they've been they were ranked like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they keep maintaining their national ranking, but they keep losing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Louisville only had 12 first downs. SMU had 28, right? Like, you get almost double the chances to throw the ball, get those TDs, get those field goals, get those whatever, right?
yeah.
And speaking of third down efficiency, we are talking about this in the earlier games. SMU was a crazy 9 for 13.
Wow, wow, wow.
Louisville,
Like,
3 for 12.
but the time of possession was 35 minutes for SMU.
Yeah.
35 minutes of offense for SMU. That's crazy. 9 for 13 on third downs, 35 minutes of offense. What is Louisville doing? Listen, now I know there's I believe their starting quarterback was hurt. I don't think this was the starter, was it?
No, Louisville has their initial starting quarterback was actually injured earlier this season.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah,
Miller Moss. So
yeah.
they have their redshirt freshman Deuce Adams in, and let me just say, I know obviously he didn't play that well. Deuce Adams, awesome football player.
Yeah.
It was just one of those lopsided games, and unfortunately for both those teams, we were covering that game this week. Let me ask you, with the state of Louisville, what do you think really needs to turn around? Because at least for me, what I'm seeing is I know they're facing a lot of injuries, but they don't have the depth. Their QB room isn't necessarily there, and they're showing a lot of poor defense, as this game was evidence of, right? And I think
Yeah,
those three things are three of the major issues that they're going to have to face coming into next season. I don't know about you, Anthony. I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies. This is kind of a Disney movie in real life. As the star quarterback, suddenly you get your big shot in college and you play mediocre, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean,
one of the worst things you can do in sports is be mediocre.
yeah, 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 100%. And I don't even think mediocre is what I'd call him right now. Dude, 94 passing yards, like that's unacceptable. It's not acceptable. Um, but hey, what are you gonna do?
That's football, baby. And you know what is
Absolutely.
acceptable? Obviously, SMU coming into the season, they're kind of a dark horse now, aren't they? Because
Yeah,
if you really look at it, like their top two players, obviously, their safety Isaiah, I don't know how you say that last name,
no idea.
Noabia or whatever, and their QB Kevin Jennings. They're ranked like in the 200s for like the NFL's central scouting, right? So not necessarily blue chip can't miss prospects, but them and the rest of their team put together one hell of a season so far, right? Like
Yeah,
SMU 8-3, they're trouncing teams like Louisville and then putting up respectable wins too, right?
yeah, exactly. And like you said, like you were talking about the not so impressive numbers for the other guys there. For SMU, excuse me. It comes leadership is a big thing. When you buy into what your head coach and your program's selling, the world's yours, man. Like, I mean, I know I talk about the Niners a lot out here, but you look at the 49ers, like we're on our ninth string DB, offensive lineman, D lineman, but we're winning football games. How? It's because they're buying into what the coach is selling, right? And same thing here is going in SMU. They're buying what the coach is selling, right? 83, you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, 83, right? So I mean, it's a good thing for us and the Mustangs right now. Good time to be a Mustangs fan, and give all the credit to them. Give all the credit to the Mustangs.
Absolutely. Can I ask you, who do you think your dog of the game for this game was, Anthony?
All right, my dog of the day. I'm gonna have to go with Kevin Jennings, QB SMU. 303 yards, three TDs, and one rushing touchdown. That's my dog of the day. Rough dog of the game, excuse me. Rough.
Absolutely. And let's just quickly go over our last major game of the day, Cal versus Stanford. Kind of another one of those uneven games that honestly I was expecting to be a lot closer.
Yeah, I expected Cal to keep up. I expected Cal to play way better football. No, their offense, their quarterback 269 passing yards, 33 for 49. They're throwing the ball 50 times. 50 times they're throwing the football. Okay. Now there's a wide receiver called Jacob De Jesus, 14 catches, 14 catches, but only 96 yards. So, it's a tough one there for Cal. It's a tough one there. Stanford's defense showed out, man. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, and I think they had, if correct me if I'm wrong here, two fumble returns
I
for
believe
TD for
believe
TDs. I think it was Darius Davis and Jay Green returning fumbles for TDs in this
so.
game.
With that being said, obviously we saw the performance of Cal kind of disappointing. Do you think that win last couple weeks ago against Louisville was an upset, or that upset was a fluke then for Cal?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to say. I don't know, Tyler. Really, I'm gonna say no on that one, man. I'm gonna say no, honestly.
And then obviously some feel good moments for Stanford though, as they end their 4-game losing streak with the victory here against Cal. And
Amen.
and good news if you're a Stanford fan and not focused on your academics and focus on football instead, because they're now bowl eligible.
Yeah, that's huge. for Stanford. I believe shout out CMC, by the way. He went to Stanford, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, shout him out. Shout out CMC. But that's good. That's good. That's good. Football is good when Stanford is good. They're classic program. They come with hard nose football. And that's what I like. I like hard nosed football teams. Shout out Stanford, baby. Shout out the Cardinals.
Absolutely. And you know who's not getting a shout out this week, or at least not a positive shout out? Cal's coach, as he got fired.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of gonna kick myself in the butt here, but I mean, he kind of deserved it. Even though they beat Louisville last week, there wasn't much going on with Calvis. Deserving fire. His seat was way too hot, and they kicked him out. What are you gonna do?
That's football, baby.
That's football, baby. Hey, you're out of a job. I'm sure they're gonna pay him exactly, and I'm sure they're gonna pay him $100 million to friggin' sit
Not coach.
on his couch anyway, not coach. So, I mean, he'll be all right.
Uh, Yeah, I will say, fired coaches, I don't necessarily feel bad for anytime because
No,
you're paid pretty much your full contract to not do your job.
yeah. Like everybody's saying, oh, like poor Brian Kelly. Like Brian Kelly's getting paid what is it, $54 million to not coach. Well, poor Brian Kelly. Give me 100 grand. I'll be good with 100 grand. You know what I mean? So
That's how much he makes in a week, Anthony. That's how much he
yeah.
makes in a week, probably, right? Speaking of football, the blowout of the week.
Oh,
It was not very much football because Notre Dame
no.
destroyed Syracuse 70-7. And no,
Uh,
that's not dyslexia. That was the literal score, 70-7.
listen, I we knew Notre Dame was going to win. All right, like I think me and you both knew
Yeah,
they were going to win, but not put up 70 on that poor team there. 70 points is a beat down. Holy.
in the first quarter, Notre Dame was up 21-0, and I don't even think their offensive players did a single snap. I think it was
Yeah.
all interceptions and turnovers.
Yeah, so he threw 83 yards, 3 interceptions, and 2 of them were pick sixes. That's that's crazy. That's crazy. And one of them was a 46-yard interception, the one was a 44-yard interception. And Notre Dame's defense. Now, listen, I don't want to I don't want to knock Notre Dame because they just came out with a historical beatdown, okay? Excuse me, but it's just Syracuse, though. I don't know. I expect them to win by 30. You know what I mean? Like I expect them to beat the shit out of them, and they did. They beat the hell out of them like bad. But you know, Jeremiah Love, 171 yards, 3 TDs, only on 8 carries. By the way, that's wild.
That's insane.
Wild.
And you know what's even more wild for me, at least? Notre Dame only had 16 minutes of possession. Syracuse
Yeah,
had
that's
44
what are you doing for 44 minutes? You put up 1 touchdown in 40 minutes. What are you doing?
and allow the equivalent of 10 touchdowns against in 16.
Yeah, like what's happening? Did somebody not tell these guys that there was a football game today or yesterday? Excuse me, Saturday now.
Anthony, I think I know what happened.
What happened, buddy?
You know, have you ever watched Ted Lasso where the soccer team accidentally hired an American football coach?
Yeah,
I think the reverse happened here. They actually hired a soccer coach for football here because that would be the only reasoning why.
so I mean that's a beatdown. How do you go out wearing Syracuse memorabilia or apparel after this? I'd go into hiding for at least 3 to 7 business days easily.
So all we're saying here at College Football Unscripted is if you have a Syracuse fan in your life, please give them a call. Please
Check
check
on
on
them.
them.
Tell them you love them. Tell them us at CFB Unscripted love them as well.
Despite their terrible performance.
despite their terrible historical basketball.
Let's do some predictions for the future as well. So, first game we have for next week, Georgia versus Georgia Tech.
Oh, give me Georgia 35-14.
Yeah, I think I'll go Georgia here too. I think Georgia Tech will put a little bit of a fight up. So I think it's going to be 28-21.
There you go. That's a good one.
Ohio State, Michigan is the next one.
Oh, listen, my brother, he's a huge Ohio fan, and I would love nothing more than to see Michigan whoop Ohio State's ass, or even just beat them with a last second field goal or something. But I don't know if it can happen. I don't know if it can happen. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Give me Ohio State. 28, 14.
I'm going to differ a little bit with you, mainly because I am a Michigan fan. It's one of the few campuses I've actually been to in real life.
There you go.
Shout out Michigan. I'm going to go Michigan, Ohio State. I'm going to go Michigan 35-28.
Oh, nice. I want Michigan. I hope you're right, dude. This is the one time I really hope you're right because I hope I can give it to my brother if they lose, man.
I do think my score prediction is going to be entirely wrong because Ohio State has the best defense in the nation by a landslide, but
Yeah,
that would be an absolute barn burner.
yeah, that would be wild. Is it in Ohio or is it in Michigan?
I believe it's in Michigan.
Wow, that's big. That's big for Michigan.
And then the next game is going to be Texas A&M versus the Texas Longhorns. Obviously, Longhorns already eliminated from the playoffs, but
Yeah.
gotta love a good Texas rivalry, right?
Oh man, we here on CFB Unscripted love our Texas football, dude. I'm telling you, good old USA, right? Um, so that's Texas Longhorns, Texas A&M, you said, right?
Yep.
Give me the Longhorns. I'm gonna go Longhorns 28-17.
I'm gonna go Texas A&M 35-15.
Oh shit! All right.
I love the Longhorns, but
So do I.
I think they've kind of shown in these last couple weeks that they're not necessarily on 100% ball mode right now. So I think
No.
it's gonna be a little bit of a one-sided victory for Texas A&M.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen. And I we thought at the beginning that Texas the Longhorns would be something special, but
Absolutely,
not good man.
we've spent entire episodes, or not entire episodes, but a large portion of our previous episodes talking about the Longhorns or Arch Manning
Yeah.
or that program in general. And I think obviously they've fallen back down to reality, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's my main reason why. And I think just Texas A&M has a way better program, and just especially with their use of their funding and of their
Yeah.
alumni and everything. I think they're just going to come out victorious here, and I think they're going to be probably one of the better teams and even next year too. Fourth game that we have for predictions, Vandy versus Tennessee. I will say I did throw three intense rivalry games, and then I was like, oh, I need a fourth. This one will do.
This one will go. Vanderbilt versus Tennessee. Oh, this is a rough one here for me. You go first this time, Tyler. I don't know. I need a bit. I need a minute.
I will go probably. I want to say Tennessee. I'll go Tennessee here.
Tennessee. Yeah, what's your prediction for the score?
That's where it gets tough. I
Right?
will say probably. You know what? Let's go 25-23. I think it's gonna be closer than a lot of people think, because these are two very even teams.
Yeah, and for that reason, Tyler, I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I'm going to take them 23-20. Going to be a tight one.
So we're both predicting very close games for that one. I
Yeah, that's
guess
going to be a good game.
the viewers here at College Football Unscripted are going to have to wait and see, because whether or not I'm completely wrong for all my predictions, Anthony's completely wrong for all of his, or a mix of both. We'll be here to talk at you next week. on those games and probably a couple more surprises. So, once again, thank you for tuning in for another edition of College Football Unscripted's Real Talk. I've been your host, Tyler. He's my co host, Anthony. Tell me, Anthony, where can the people find you?
Hey guys, you can find me on X, Total Sports underscore HQ, as you can see right here. And on TikTok, Total Sports underscore HQ as well. So yes, sir. Thanks, Tyler. I appreciate it, guys.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. We'll talk at you next week.